The riders wanted to kill me, trying to manage 2 he-goats. You can imagine how crazy, that. Someone asked in terms of business, which is like our talking point for the day. What's the business that was a total waste of money?
Now, the disclaimer here is one might have a bad experience about a certain business, right? That does not mean that business is bad entirely, right? Somebody else might go into it and still succeed. But one of the businesses that personally I lost money in is actually a dredging business, right? Where someone was paid to get a dredger, right? Because he is a dredge master. Get a dredger, someone else had the land that was close to the water, had partnership or had agreement with the community, and there was a split formula already. But greed entered the whole thing. Giving money to get the dredger. One, the guy did not get the agreed dredger.
Yes.
Went to bring one nonsense dredger from Igrita.
Okay.
Right? The money that was paid to you weekly for diesel, he was not buying the diesel, at least the quantity of diesel. First he brought a smaller dredger, right? And then the money for the diesel, you're not even buying enough diesel. Then to pay for your crew that would help you pump the sand, you're not paying them what you're supposed to pay them. So it was a total mess.
So that was like gross mismanagement.
It was something else. Then the guy that had the agreement with the community that, okay, if you pump our sand, the trucks that are coming to carry the sand, the trucks normally they pay a certain amount of money
to go lift.
To go lift. But each sand that you lift, the community has a certain amount of money. The guy was not paying the community. So it was like on two sides. This person is...
So what then was the guy doing right?
The guy was not doing anything. The thing that he had the agreement with the community.
Yes.
Now, community was patient enough to be like, okay, we are waiting for you. Let business start. But business has started.
And he
community
was
is not seeing anything. And then when I speak with him, he'll be like, oh yes, everything is being sorted on the angle of the community, until we had a general meeting with the community. Community said this guy has not been forthcoming. Now had issue with the community that is being settled. The dredge guys, the guys that are dredging, is all complaining that they would stop dredging. They
no
would
payments.
Their dredger because they are not seeing payments, and they are managing the vessel because the diesel is not even enough for them to pump what they are supposed to pump in a day. So it was something else. So after that, it's like, guy, if you're dealing with people in a certain thing, if you don't have that time to go and micromanage people, and me, I'm not somebody that has that time to come and micromanage you. Just remove your hand. You see, anything that involves water or involves what's it called, oil service. I also had my own experience with oil service. That's another conversation, right? Anything that involves you financing something and people managing it, if you don't have that time to constantly supervise or constantly investigate, guy.
But then again, this particular business, will you say it was like a fault of yours? What was like the duration? Do you think that it would have performed well if you had given it more time?
See, like I said,
do you even think the business itself would have been profitable?
It would have been. It's a good business. It's a good business. It would have been profitable. Now we are saying, do you have the land that is close to the water that you can dredge? Right? You have all the papers to dredge. Now the only challenge now is this guy that said he brought the land. He has understanding with the community chief and the youths. Trucks, you see, if you're pumping sand, trucks would always come.
They always come.
And now he had an IPO, purchasing order from CCECC. That's the Chinese
company.
The Chinese guys, then they were building roads. They were like, if they see sand, they will buy. And you know those guys and those, they are Soho trucks.
And they'll come with their trucks.
Yeah, they will buy like 6-7 buckets because those their trucks were really big.
Yeah.
Those guys are giving you a purchasing order. Those guys, they want sand. If you have sand, they will come and lift sand and they will pay you. He had it with them.
Yeah.
Right? And I think they were the ones that lifted a few times. But then your pumping is not even enough for them to carry, let alone the independent truck drivers that would always come to carry from your sand field. It was a profitable venture, right? But what messed it up was greed. I also have that challenge when it comes to like guys that, let's say these guys that do interior decor. They don't really know how to do the interior decor themselves. What I mean is, they don't know how to build chair or to build the whatever, the wall mount and all that stuff. So they get artisans that know how to do that, and then they supervise them, and then they bill you.
Yes.
So if the artisan say this thing is going to be like 300k to do, they might come and tell you, sir, we are going to do it for you 500k. Now, why I'm paying you that 500k is not because I cannot get an artisan that will do that in lower. It's because I believe that you understood what I explained to you, right? And you can manage those artisans to achieve that goal.
Yeah.
That is why I'm paying you that premium.
It's the same thing with like tailors.
Yes, that's why I'm paying you that premium. But the funny thing is, even after paying you that premium, I will still not have to come and be supervising you. Because sometimes when I even come to the site, you are not there. And I'm now having to talk directly to the artisan to be like, no, why are you putting nail here? You're supposed to use gum. I'm not supposed to be seeing this nail.
Yeah.
Where your guy, it never come. You understand? I'm not supposed to talk directly to the artisans. I gave you a color, brown. Why am I seeing another shade of brown? This thing is not matching.
The truth of the matter is, I think in Nigeria, most persons don't take blue collar jobs.
No.
Serious.
It's really... So my experience with the whole dredging thing was... now, before someone will say, oh, why would you go into dredging? Do you have an experience in dredging? Of course, I do have an experience in dredging. Yeah. During my IT days, I worked with a drilling and dredging company, which, for the most part, I was in the dredging division. I knew how dredging
everything worked.
I worked in a sand field like for a very long... In fact, I worked in the dredger because they had a very big dredger. My company then had about 3 dredgers.
Yeah.
Very, very big dredgers. I worked sometimes in the dredger itself. Then before my internship finished, and I worked on land to where they, quantify the sand and then sell the sands and all that stuff. So I understood how the business worked. But my entire experience being the one to kind of finance
the business
itself, it was something else because of the guys that were involved in it.
I think you can still attribute that to trusting.
Yes.
I think trusting too was a major issue. But then looking up some other persons, their reactions and experiences online, we have someone that was complaining about the dispatch business.
That one is a crazy business. I think you have an experience.
I have experience with the dispatch business. He was complaining about dispatch business and his frustration, saying the riders wanted to kill me with frustration. I was trying to manage 2 he-goats. You can imagine how crazy that is. And it's quite crazy because I can actually relate. Someone said his worst in business investment is investing in a woman.
Well, that's another thing to own a business with your wife or with your girlfriend.
Yeah. People have had multiple experiences. Like someone did say his worst business investment was he opened a business for his wife to manage. So for him, it's a family business. But he opened it for his wife to manage. I know women, they are very good with like growing stuff. So the wife grew this business from a few 100,000 to be worth like tens of millions. That eventually when his own work that he was doing finally crashed, he lost the job and all. He said, okay, let me fall back
to the wife's business.
His family business that I opened and allowed my wife to run. And the woman said, that cannot happen though, that this is her own business. Now one thing led to the other. The woman said she's not interested in the marriage again.
Okay.
So she took over the business, because here's the thing: when you open a business for someone, the man was obviously devastated and the marriage ended. But when you open a business for someone and the person is the one running the business, obviously the person knows every damn thing about the business. And now should be looking at it that she has grown this business. She has taken the pains to grow this business from level 0, even if yes, you financed and everything, to be what times 20, times 50, times 100, and tomorrow you just want to come and reap when the business is now running.
Well,
on its own.
In that conversation, I think there are probably more that meets the eye. Something else must have been happening in the marriage and all that.
Yeah,
because women sometimes, I tell people, women don't know measure. You will carry slippers and hit a woman. She'll go and find cord and wipe your neck. And you'll be like, wait, this thing, it's not the same, right? The woman might have been in that marriage and be like, this woman, no, they pay attention to this business. I asked him for money. He's no longer giving me for money because he opened business for me. He doesn't even know what's happening. And all her mind, she's like, if this thing succeeds, I'm not going to pay attention to this man. And then all of a sudden, you go wake up one morning and say you want to take over business. Women are interesting.
But then again, most persons now had to come out and be like, in business is not done like wife, husband, friends. You have to do the proper paperwork.
Yeah.
You understand? You don't do it based on 100% trust, even if it's with your brother or your sister. So they were like, that was his own fault. Yeah, because he just entrusted everything.
But if you do that now, it's not for, I don't see anything bad in doing that. For example, if your wife was very good at some certain services, maybe she knows how to do nails, she knows how to do hair, she knows how to do good quality hair and all that stuff, and you'd be like, oh, babe, I can actually open up a business for you to do these things that you so passionately love, right? For me, I don't see any fault in opening, maybe her registering a business name that she's maybe like a sole proprietor or maybe even a limited liability these days. And then maybe you give her a starting up capital and she goes into it and she's doing it, she's facing her challenges, she's growing. I don't see anything wrong with that. And maybe tomorrow she succeeds. She has her social media that is buzzing with others. She has her sales girls or workers, and it's good. And maybe you encounter some challenge in whatever endeavor that you're into. And the question now is, what do you now want from her business or with her business? Are you now asking her to give you accounts? You're asking her to give you accounts.
Are you trying to take ownership of the business?
Now, if you're asking her to give you account of her business, problem don't they?
Because she was never giving you account before, or probably you were never interested in the account before.
And for me, the way I look at it, you ask her to give you account is for what exactly? Because that's not your business, right? Now, you say you want to now come and take over the business. By God, you're going to run down the business because that's not what you know.
And you don't understand the business. Obviously.
Yes. But now, if you say in something in the likes of, okay, her business is making some money from it, and maybe you sit down and have a conversation with her and be like, oh, babe, I might not be able to pay, maybe if your guys, live in a rented apartment, or maybe his kids are in school, or maybe money for feeding. I might not be able to pay for XYZ this month or next month or for some time because I'm having these issues. Is your business making enough? I think your business is making enough. Why don't you cover some of these things while that's a separate conversation.
Yeah.
When she says she's not going to cover those things and you know that she's making money, then now you're not dealing with maybe someone that is not a team player, whatever you might target.
Yeah.
That's a separate conversation. And you saying, oh, it's business I open for her, so I now want to take over. You're going to kill it.